Hello, and welcome to the official Home Button Podcast, Episode 6. That's 7. Episode 6. Joining me this week is Emilio.
Hi.
And the Puke.
Hello, I'm in a different room.
I would like to say that what I just said, and I'm your host, Matt Klink, and what I just said sounds like a really good, it sounds like the two radio guys from Parks and Rec. What's his name? Something in the what are their names?
In the douche.
Yeah. Emilio and the Puke is our new morning radio talk show.
Oh, man. That's one of the things I've always wanted to do. Here's a really weird dream I have. I would love to just have like a 5 a.m. radio talk show. It's just me and somebody else in a radio slot of coffee.
Sounds pretty
bringing out them slow jams.
Why would you want to be at work at 5 a.m?
I don't know. I want to do it for like a week.
If we're like, I'd want to do it for a week, and then after that week, I'd say, fuck this.
Yeah, exactly. This is like a weird thing. We gotta do it for like a week, and they're like, nah.
And then quit.
Exactly.
This week, we're super timely and current with the times, and by that I mean this was something that was talked about kind of last week, but this is just when we have gotten the news to talk about it. We want to talk about Peter Molyneux and kind of around him, maybe bigger things in the games industry relating to Peter Molyneux. I'm not going to show our hand. I won't tell you what we're thinking.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Sorry. Whenever I hit go on this, for some reason, Firefox likes to open stream on my other window, and it's like, hey, now you're hearing yourself. Is that fun?
You're breaking the illusion, Matt.
Yeah.
They know this is all it's all fake.
They know that we are not. They know that we're not angels on high discussing something.
It's scripted, the whole thing.
Even this bit. It's right here, page 4. Get mad at Matt for talking about Google Hangouts.
Yeah, and then page 6, Amelia dies in Rogue Legacy.
Are you playing Rogue Legacy right now, really?
I wanted to get one lifeline because I'm really bad at the game, and I knew I would die.
Also, I think Amelia, we might be getting a little bit of feedback from you. Yeah.
Okay, well, we worked that out. We're talking about Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go around the table, talk about how we feel about Peter Molyneux, and then other things.
So Peter Molyneux has made some video games. I think he actually has made some good ones. We're kind of.
I think Peter Molyneux has made some very good video games that a lot of people like, and then some that were pretty good. That I loved the Fable games. I thought Fable 2 was my favorite, and 1 was pretty good, and 3 was okay.
Yeah, no, and I kind of wish Ed was here because he sort of has the very anti-Peter Molyneux opinion, which is fine, but he's kind of like none of his games are good. Like he was very adamant that Peter Molyneux has never made a good video game. Which I
think he maybe would admit that he has made a good video game or two 15 years ago, though. He doesn't think that he's done anything good. I would argue that he still does.
Yeah, I guess that's how you define it. Because I thought The Movies was a really good video game. No one remembers The Movies. I do. I remember The Movies.
That's good.
You guys ever play The Movies?
What was that game?
Was it that weird game where you made movies that was like The Sims almost?
It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but for a movie studio.
Yeah, me and my friend.
It kind of goes through the decades, so you kind of our movies are in black and white, and now we can buy color. And our movies color because people want color movies now, and you have to work with the trends. And I thought it was really cool. I think
you could do stuff with voice or voices. You could record your own stuff. Yeah, my friend.
Didn't you need a camera for it?
You didn't have to do that stuff. All that stuff was optional.
My friend did though, and he made some
stuff. Yeah. Or you could just say, make a movie for me, and it would automate that stuff, and you could get more into the sim aspect part of it.
Okay.
I thought it was cool. I have a copy of it. I'll load it up sometime. I really like that game. But I feel like Peter Molyneux is not an inherently bad person. I feel like there's a lot of people who think of him as this malicious, like, I'm here to take all your money and then run away.
Like he's there to lie to you.
Yeah, like
he's purpose built for lies.
Exactly, like he's kind of
Yeah.
intentionally, like, I've gotten all their money, now let's make an inferior product and run away with it. I'm like, I think he's a very, very charismatic man who is very good at selling people on his product, and I genuinely believe that he believes everything he says too. Like, I think all that enthusiasm is 100% genuine that he is saying about that game.
I agree.
It's just that he is kind of trying to pitch is something that you would maybe pitch to your team, or maybe like a publisher to kind of get the game off the ground. Not something you would want to say to the public, because when you make games, a lot of things change. And that, I think that is why PR people, I think PR people try and be very tight-lipped on games, because they're like, well, here's the marketing plan, and this week we have to put out this video. We can't talk about this till, week 4. But I also think they want to avoid publishers or developers from just saying whatever they want, because they know that developers would gladly talk to you about everything that's in the game right now. That might not be in the game later, and that sets up bad expectations for the audience.
I absolutely agree. I think it's hard for me to totally relate to this topic, just because I think the only game let me look at this list here. You guys keep going. I'm reading about Peter Molyneux. I've done my homework, but other than, I think the only game I played really was Fable 2.
I love Fable 2. I'm with Matt. Fable 2 is
and I absolutely loved that.
Was the best one.
I loved Fable 2. I never played like Fusion or Populous or any of these games. They don't ring a bell to me.
He's a PC heavy developer. A lot of them were kind of strategy games, God games, Black and White.
And before I could have gotten into those games, I think.
Yeah. I tried playing Black and White. Like, a friend gave me a copy of Black and White like 5 years ago, and I attempted to play it, and it just wouldn't run on my modern computer.
Oh, that's a shame.
So I say what Black and White was. I know at the time, though, that Black and White was apparently a good game, but I guess that people were still pretty peeved about it, because I guess what he promised would be in the game, was not he was definitely overselling some of the concepts in that game that were not in it.
Huh. That sounds familiar.
I think Peter Molyneux's games are all fine. It's just that he's overselling them, and I think that's kind of just the only difference between him and every other game developer, is that they aren't selling them because they're not, I don't know, they're kind of intentionally kept more tight-lipped about it, or they kind of know how to hold themselves back from wanting to say everything they could say.
Right.
Right. And I'm just afraid that I don't want to speak up too much because I am lagging a lot, but
I don't want to say too much because my connection's super shitty. So.
But I don't. Oh, I hear a lot of people telling me that or not telling me, but I keep hearing a lot in games media about people saying that he's just a terrible person for doing all these things he's done, and people were comparing I forget who it was I was talking to, but I think it could have been Ed. Somebody said when you see a demo of a game at E3, know that the game's not going to look that good, no matter what.
Sure.
Because it's running on 4 PCs, and he says that's a lie, but. And I said,
lagged very hard.
That doesn't. I said that doesn't. Oh, sorry.
No, it was lag. It was lag. Yeah, that's why. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying.
Yeah, it was funny because you lagged.
And I said, well, what makes that any better of it? What makes lying about what your game's gonna look like any better than lying about features your game's gonna have? I think that those lies. I think that a lie is a lie no matter what. You're not I don't just because you're used to seeing like the fact that your game's not going to look as good as it was demoed doesn't mean that that isn't still dishonest.
Sure, but I think a lot of people automatically assume that these people are like dishonest intentionally. Like,
I think people definitely assume that out of Peter at this point.
Controversy around Dark Souls 2.
Right, with the visuals.
The original visuals looked way better, and then when it finally came out, it looked significantly less better, like in a lot of aspects. And it is, you look at that and you're definitely like, oh man, that's crazy. But I don't think the developers were like, well, we just made it look better to sell it to them, and now we're really gonna make it crap. Be like, I think they truly wanted the game to probably look that good.
The thing is,
just somewhere in between them showing that and them actually putting out the product, they're like, we don't have enough money to do this for everything. Like,
yeah, and like,
we have to scale it back.
Yeah, and generally companies don't tend to make promises that they don't want to keep, right? They don't want to sell you a thing that isn't, you know what I mean? They don't want to sell you on a lie. So, with
I know what you're saying.
Those things that they were showing were probably rendered on a very powerful or multiple machines in development, but they're like, well, this is, it has to be running on just like a PS4 or whatever, or on PC and 360, so it's not gonna, it can't look this good, and they're saying, well, we have to optimize, so they can say that, it could look this good, we just have to optimize, because right now it can't, but right now, even if we pulled it back, it couldn't. So they could say, once we optimize it, it could look close to this on those things. So it's not even like they're intentionally saying, well, we're running on like 3 graphics cards, right? Like, you know what I mean? The most godly PC isn't in. They could still be trying to sell you the truth of how good it will look. It's just that not everything is optimized, so they can't say how good it can. You know what I mean? It's hard to. When it's still in development and you're trying to sell your thing, it's like, this is probably it, and we're gonna give you. They're not gonna give you the shittier version. They're gonna try to give you the best version of what they think.
They're gonna try and give you what they hope is gonna be good.
Right.
If you want to talk about I'm not.
You're not auto-tuned.
Peter Molyneux because I
was.
I'm not upset with Peter. Stop! Please stop. Silly talk. I'm not upset with Peter Molyneux. There should be repercussions for his actions, though.
He definitely should be held accountable, especially because this is different. This particular instance is very different from your usual video game case where it's like, we're working with like a publisher and like this and that. Like, this is like crowdfunded, like you took these people's money. It's a different scenario, and I think at the very least, people are not gonna buy into his overpromises and be like, well, I'm not gonna invest in another Peter Molyneux game. Like, and as you should. Like, if you gave money to Goddess and you're like, well, I'm never gonna give Peter Molyneux my money again. I'm like, absolutely, you should definitely not give Peter Molyneux your money.
Right. Like, if you're disappointed in the product that you're getting, then don't do that again. Or like, also just. It's funny because Kickstarter is definitely a thing for people in the know who are like understand products or want to be part of that process or something. So it's not for just your average consumer that probably might not even know about Kickstarter. They might have a whiff of like, oh yeah, like some games get funded by crowded people, I think like Kickstarter or something, but like they don't go on there and look for Peter Molyneux's new joint, right? These were people who know who Peter Molyneux is, right? Like these are probably people who know who Peter Molyneux is. And that doesn't give him the go-ahead to take their money and do whatever the fuck he wants because he's Peter Molyneux. They should have known what they were getting in for. But you should, with every Kickstarter, and especially if this guy has a reputation for this, just, like, think about it for, like, a hot second. Just, like, don't, like, if he's saying, I can literally give you Jesus, and he doesn't, don't be surprised. It's Peter Molyneux.
And
that's not an excuse for any of it. It's just, like, consider it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's the gamble you play with Kickstarter, and I don't think I feel like people still aren't getting that, or at least a lot of people. like they think like it is like, oh, I'm pre-ordering this game. It's like, no, you're putting money into fund a game that isn't finished. It's like it's so not that.
Yeah.
There was that game recently, Stomping Lands. Like that was a crazy story where
didn't that just like die? They just cut that, right?
So like no one had heard from the main guy in charge of it for like 6 months.
Yep.
And everyone's like, where's like the thing? And you go on like the Steam page, it's like frequent updates, like talking about it. And then one of like the main 3D artists was like, yeah, I have been trying to contact like the guy in charge for 6 months and I can't reach him.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't been doing any work for like a while.
Yeah, he was like doing a little bit. He had to pay like their texture artist out of his own pocket because he couldn't get in contact with the guy. And then he's like, I feel bad about this because I thought this game had some promise, but I'm literally not getting any money off this, so I have to leave this project and go on to something else. And he was like selling off like some of the model assets to try and like, you know, make some money off of it. And it's like nobody knows what happened to that guy. And that could totally happen with Kickstarter. Like that is.
Yeah, it's entirely in the realm of possibility.
It has happened with Kickstarter. You guys remember the Yogscast game?
Yeah,
yes,
that one happened too,
or
right?
even there were those two twins who were making these two different pixel art games, and they then were like found as squatters in some place in like Texas or California. They were squatting somewhere at an Airbnb, and they were like, "You need to," and they're just in the like. So eventually they arrested or something. I don't know.
I didn't know
like,
about that.
Yeah, there was like this weird article where like they were squatters somewhere at an Airbnb, and like they were also the people who just took money and seemed to run from these two different Kickstarter campaigns. There were these two twins. It was very weird.
That's crazy.
It was very crazy. But so back to just Peter a little bit. I have a similar thing where like I had played Black and White, which was that One God game, and I had played Fable 2 and 3, and I played some other of his games. I played some other, like, I just can't remember, but I played some of his older stuff too, like before Black and White on like my PC, and I just didn't know they were pre. Yeah, I think I'd played Popular. It was weird. It was like I never realized until I started reading more about this because I wanted to talk about him that I was like, oh, I played some of his older games before Fable. Like I didn't know that he was behind Black and White or Populous.
He worked for, I forget the name of the company, but they made like the original Syndicate. Like he was like a really big.
And like
made some really
I had known that he was like a big part of the God game starting. I just didn't know specifically that. And like when I thought about it, I was like, wait, I played some of these, you know. So that was kind of cool figuring that out. And I think if we were looking at Emilio's screen really quick, he's going to the bathroom. But so if I'm not gonna, I want to say I'm coming to the defense a little bit of Peter Molyneux, but not even necessarily. It's just people who are like, he hasn't made a great game in years. It's like, I don't think that's true. I think he's made good games recently, and even like, I have friends who like they backed Goddess or whatever when like last year or whatever, and like. They haven't played it recently, but they sat down for a day and just played the poop out of it for like literally the whole day for like 8 hours. Like
wow.
They were like, yeah. After that, like we have no desire to play it, and we saw like everything it had to offer. So we're never probably gonna play it again. But like, that's like I don't know. I know people are really disappointed of it, and that's not like my defense of like the game is fine. Like that's not. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying it's not literally the worst game ever.
No.
Or like he didn't even make a game. It's like. It's like he did the Peter Molyneux thing that everyone knew he was gonna do. Like, what? So like, and he still delivers decent games. And so people who are like he shouldn't be in the this basically what I want to say is people who are saying he doesn't like deserve to be in the industry or like shouldn't be in the industry anymore are like, I think it just seems very reactionary to like. Well, the studio's in shambles, and like no one's working on this, and it's like, well, actually, even in the horrible Rock Paper Shotgun interview, where they were like, "Are you a liar? Are you the worst human being? Do you kill infants?" In that interview, he said he like said the names of the people working on the different projects. Like he named the people who were like, so it's not like no one's working on it. It's not like the game still isn't in development at all. And like, I don't know. My defense is just like I just want everyone to like maybe relax, maybe just like You know what I mean? Because it's not like he
Yeah.
hasn't ever delivered on any promises. It sounds stupid, but I really cared about the dog in Fable 2. Like, I remember when I played that game, I was like, I need to, like, feed you and, like, do stuff with my dog. And, like, I did stuff with that stupid fucking dog because, like, I wanted to.
I brought the dog back at the end of Fable 2 when you have that 3 options.
Yeah,
Brought the dog back.
that's what I did.
Fuck everyone else. I brought the dog back.
Yeah, the dog. But so he doesn't always make hollow promises. Sometimes some of them come true, and they're pretty good. And I don't think he's just lying to make you buy the game. I think he wants these things to happen. It's just the realities of game development. Sometimes shit doesn't work out. And that's maybe his fault for overpromising. You know what I mean? That's on him. But at this point, if you're looking at the goddess thing and like you're like fucking Peter Molyneux, why are you even around anymore? And it's like, what did you expect? It's Peter Molyneux. Like what? Like have you not been like?
He's not gonna up and quit his job because of this.
Yeah,
He shouldn't. I don't think he should.
No,
Yeah,
no, absolutely not. There's like, what was the analogy I used? It was just because a really really good quarterback makes one bad play at the end of an important game doesn't mean that they should stop playing.
Yeah, we're always chokes during the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that is seriously several quarterbacks in the NFL right now, if we want to have that discussion. But like Tony Romo. And they still make millions of dollars, and like people are crazy about sports. Riots happen after large sporting events. You know what I mean? The idea that Peter Molyneux should be like not be in game development anymore over like it's a little bit like, you know what I mean? And the thing is, in the Rock Paper Shotgun interview where he was getting raked over the coals, he even said, you know what I haven't been doing for the past 12 months is like talking my game up to the press because I can feel you people angry at me for, you know, you think I'm just a liar, and I feel that. And like he said that in the interview, and it's like that is, I don't know how you can ask for anything more from him.
Yeah, like I hope that he
known for
finally
doing
learns
that.
his
And he's
lesson.
like, I don't wanna. I get it. Like
He's self-aware,
yeah, he has become
which like that self-awareness is appreciated for at least from me.
Yeah, definitely. And like if anything, I was worried that I would read that and he would be just as callous as the interviewer, that he would be just as much of an ass as the guy who was pissed at him, you know? And he, like, if anything, he showed me some humility that I was like, even in this, where literally the first question is like, are you a liar? He didn't just immediately say like, well, fuck yourself and like leave. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't immediately just like disregard like, this is what you're doing, huh? You know? Yeah.
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 I'm not upset because I wasn't looking forward to Goddess to begin with. I genuinely feel for the people that are upset though, because or that they put money into a game that they didn't get.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to that end, kickstarting a game is not pre-ordering a game.
Yeah. And especially like when they have a list of things that they're like, these are what we want to do, and if like this has happened at other game Kickstarters, they cut things, you know, and they try and make it up in other places, or seriously like, and the thing is, Peter, like they're gonna finish that game they're gonna try and, you know, finish it and say like, all right, it's done now, and try and hit some of the other things, and you know, that doesn't even happen a lot of the time. Like that, whatever it was, the dinosaur game was just like the dude's pieced. Like,
yeah, he didn't do that. Peter Molyneux did not run away.
Yeah.
He's still there.
Yeah. So do we want to have a larger discussion now that we've kind of maybe cleared some of our air about Peter? Do we want to talk about?
Yeah, it really is a shame that Ed's not here.
Yeah, because he was harder on it, but
yeah, I would have liked his perspective. Like honestly, I feel like
I'm not an apologist, but I just don't. I guess I don't. I'm not burned on this. That's why I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
So.
I had that other perspective we needed to think of.
So if we wanted to talk about kind of how the thing is when we talked about this, there's kind of a larger discussion of like I don't know, we kind of already talked about it a little bit. People lying, like PR not being completely honest in the games industry when they're trying to sell a game. Is there anything that you guys can think of that in any ways that maybe it's improved or gotten worse or anything around there?
Well, I think there's this real big issue still with games where a lot of consumers have this like perspective of like that like the developers are out to get them, or it's like
or that they're beholden to them. Like
yeah,
it's
or
like
there's like this. It's like we have to draw a line in the sand. It's us versus them, but then it's also like it's us versus the press, and then it's the press versus like there's a lot of lines being drawn.
There's a lot of sand and a lot of lines in that sand, and I don't know what the hell's happening.
They're crossing over each other, and
where's
I don't
the penis stand? Where's Jesus?
But there's
Jesus
this really
take the wheel.
there's this little. I was watching a video that Tim Schafer put out, just giving an update about Broken Age, but he ended up by talking a minute about Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
So people who already hate Tim Schafer, well, not like me, because I like Tim Schafer.
People who don't like Tim Schafer can not ever be
they're crazy people.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, just don't talk to me.
But
I've heard he's not the most pleasant to work with, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, sure, I'm not.
But I heard he's a hard ass, but I mean he kind of has to be. He's running a business.
Yeah.
He's very passionate about what he does and everything I've seen about him. He's an interesting.
I like pretty much everything that comes out of Double Fine. So.
Yeah, totally. But he was saying specifically how the.
Sorry. I mean, like.
But Tim Schafer was just saying how a lot of people seem to like forget that like developers are humans, and that like, I mean, humans are gonna make mistakes and they're gonna screw up and not everything's gonna go according to plan, and like that games are really hard and like you gotta have that perspective,
And I think people hear that and then they're like, so that means that they can just do whatever they want. It's like no, but it just means like if something doesn't happen exactly how you want it, please don't.
And he said that Peter should still be held accountable.
Of course, yeah.
Promised, and like he feels for the people who got burned. But he's just saying like, hey, just remember that these are human beings, and that's the important part.
They got their mobile game.
Yeah.
They do have that mobile game. Yes. I mean, I've definitely had stuff that like I'll admit I looked at that. The Dark Souls 2 comparison, and it was pretty like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy.
Pretty drastic.
Because it wasn't just like the lighting, it was like drastic texture work was like real different, and I was like, holy shit. Like, that looks almost like a completely different room. That's pretty insane.
That was a detailed wall, and now it's a brown smudge.
I would love to know what happened with that. If I had a wish, it was. I wish I could. I would want a book or like a documentary about every game ever made, because just that stuff fascinates me. Like
there is one for Russ Pitts, who wrote for Polygon and started Polygon. Russ Pitts wrote a book for the making of Defense Grid 2, which is basically a super good AAA tower defense game that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And Russ Pitts was like in that studio interviewing them a lot and wrote a book about it. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, I know Russ Pitts wrote a book about it, so check that out.
Awesome.
Not to pimp like random dudes' work who like we've never really mentioned on the show, but there's an example of it.
I'm totally in love with that stuff. Like I watched the Last of Us documentary,
mm-hmm.
And obviously I think that documentary was funded by Sony, so it's I wouldn't call it like it's a little bit skewed probably, but they try and just basically be like here's just them making the game. So I like that.
I'm trying to think of what would really aggravate.
Oh, never mind. I'd have to adjust my my white balance. It's 420.
Oh, I mean when the game's broken, hey, guess what? Master Chief Collection still broke. Game still doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have officially I literally spent $360 or $460 on that game.
You should do.
I know a lot of people who've just like they're just defeated. They're just like I just don't care anymore. Like they're not even like Like, cause like, you know, 343 is like, no, we'll fix it. We got it this time. And like most people are just like, I just don't care anymore. It's been too long. I'm on other things now. Like, I just don't care about it.
I think for another podcast we should talk about what Microsoft did wrong with the launch of their console. That literally they had the reins, they had the leadership for the last gen, and they said, "Hey Sony, do you want this?" And Sony was like, "Yeah, all right," and then they gave it to them.
Who was I talking to that was saying that? Or what was I listening to, or who was I talking to that?
You probably listened to the Colin Moriarty, what's his name, Greg Miller.
I don't know. Who was? You didn't even. That was theorizing that the Xbox came out sooner than it was initially planned.
Maybe Jean-Luc. I think Jean-Luc. I think. I don't know if it was out sooner than it planned. Maybe I don't know. When you look at the hardware, maybe it was.
Honestly, I could have been the Bombcast or something, but
what were you?
There's a theory that
dropped for a sec, so I completely missed what you said.
Theory that I remember hearing someone say that the Xbox One came out sooner than it was planned in corporate.
Yes, the Bombcast was talking about that, but that is something that I was talking about too, where they weren't expecting Sony to announce the PlayStation 4 as early as they did.
Yeah. And for the consoles, it looked so good.
So long to because the time that they finally revealed it was a very odd time because it was ridiculously late compared to when the PS4 announced it. Like their response was real. Like it took them a real long time to come up with a response, and that was also like right before E3. So like you think like they would have wanted to space it out better, but I just think they literally like had to come up with it at the last second.
Definitely. And my new title, as you guys can see,
Sony. You know what? I have an Xbox One, but I would consider myself a full-on Sony crony. I have PS1, PS2, PS3, and a PS4, and I'm never getting rid of any of them.
Oh, I got rid of all those prospective consoles after the new generation came out because I'm a horrible consumer, but I've also had all those consoles.
I have no brand allegiance.
I consume it all, but right now I'm only playing PlayStation because that's the only one I brought with me to Dublin.
Yeah.
And and a lot of Dota. So.
Yeah. Dota. So I don't know if there's. I'm trying to think of companies that have super overpromised in a way that has like personally for me been like, God damn it. And it's funny because I think the game that like I really like Splash Damage's new game, but remember Brink? That hurt kinda. Did you guys play Brink?
I played Brink.
I remember Brink.
You want to know? Can I tell you a quick story about Brink?
Let me tell you my quick story first, because...
Well, wait. Well, I asked first. Come on.
But I was telling my story, and then I just asked if you guys remembered it.
Okay, no, go ahead. Fine.
What? I was totally...
No, fine. Tell your Brink story.
So, I followed that game from its inception, and I was, like, sold on, like, that you would have this cool narrative with your friends, and they were mixing the multiplayer and the narrative. In which, like, really, when I look at Destiny, I'm like, it's almost weird. Like, I almost look at Brink, and I'm like, you were too soon. You tried it too soon. The framework wasn't there. You goofed. Especially, like, with just how, like, they did, like, if there weren't people to play against on the other side, they just filled it with robots, and then it was just, like, the whole setup was mismatched and bad. But so I followed that game from inception, and I was, like, totally hooked on that idea that, like, this would be like a cool campaign, but also it's multiplayer, and I thought it would be like the coolest thing. And then like I liked actually the gameplay. I actually liked the parkour and the shooting dudes, but like the whole framework of how it was strung together was just like a mess. You know, that was I think they just took on too much. And that was probably the first game that like I bought the hype super hard, and then when it like came out to mediocre praise, like very not even faint praise, right? People like my friends at the time were like, like just made fun of me for like a week after that. I was like, all right, that's cool. Like I still bought this game and now I'm sad, but thanks for making fun of me for it.
All right, my Brink story. Are you there? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
About what year did Brink come out?
I want to
It was
say
2011,
2011.
and I know that because it was at the first PAX I went to. and I
May
played there.
10th, 2011 is the day that game came out. September or October of 2011, I was at a Toys R Us. I don't know why I was at a Toys R Us, but I was in the video game section. I saw copies of Brink with the "Do Not Open Before Release Date" sticker on them.
swag.
For $8, brand new.
Whoa, that's
is-
pretty cold.
Yeah, I bought fucking Brink just because I wanted to buy that game for $8.
Wait, this was
I also
Pretty good
remember
steal. That game was worth, like, honestly, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like it was
came out,
maybe
yeah,
$20.
September or October of the same year it came out.
Yeah, damn, that is.
Oh. For some
The
reason in
thing-
my head, I thought you meant like the year before, and I'm like, what the fuck? How did you? That doesn't make any sense.
No. I'm saying like the same year, like later down the line, but like not that much later for that game to be $8.
Yeah, that was
no.
that was a game that people bought and returned quick. That game
Um,
did not sell well.
I think
Reminded me a lot of the Shadowrun game, kind of similar vein.
Wait, the Shadowrun the shooter, the
That's another
cross-platform
game that like got a lot of poop, and it's like, yeah, it wasn't so bad.
that was cross-platform, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that game had cool ideas. It had not enough. It had like 5 maps.
I played the free beta or whatever. That was the one map. I got really, really good at it, and then never cared to get the game.
Yeah, classes weren't well balanced, and certain powers are way broken compared to others. Like, that game is.
Is that in the same universe of this Shadowrun? Like the
No. It's the same license, but it is not the same lore.
I mean,
like they changed the lore around, and so it is not considered official Shadowrun canon.
That's funny.
This game. Oh man, I'm looking up Shadowrun stuff for this game. It's all coming back to me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had fun-
going back to
beta.
Kickstarter, the new Shadowrun got kickstarted.
Oh yeah, I think I was gonna fund that, and then I realized I was
kickstarted
too
that.
broke.
I put money down for that because I loved those last 2 Shadowrun games.
I'm definitely gonna pick it up when it comes out, and like I actually wanted to fund this one because I wanted it, but like right now I'm just broke, so I'm like I don't have the money right now. So when that comes out, I'll buy it.
What if it never comes out?
It'll come out. No, it hit the.
No. So this thing, I like the way they kickstarted this because when they initially were like, "We're doing a new Kickstarter for our 3rd Shadowrun game," and I'm like, "Well, why do you need Kickstarter? Like the first one was really good. You didn't even need a Kickstarter for the second one." And this was like on the Kickstarter, it says like, "Hey, this game is coming out, no matter what.
Yeah,
this
it's like
game is
done.
coming out.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter is purely for we have all these
Cool.
great idea to put in the game that we just don't have enough money for. So basically, like, if we can like get these stretch goals, we can put more stuff in the game. But even if this Kickstarter fails, the game is still happening." And I was like, okay, that's cool. Not everyone can do that, but I think for them, where it's like we've established that this works and there's an audience, we can get a publisher to make this game happen.
Yeah.
But we can go to the hardcore fans and say, hey, we know you want to have all these cool improvements, pay to basically like make sure they happen in the game.
Yeah. Talking about the hype being real for Kickstarter, so Pebble Time launched yesterday, and it quickly hit its goal.
Insane.
It's insane. This is like at this point the podcast is tailing off and we'll wrap it up soon, but I just wanted to mention. So they hit the $500,000 goal in 20 minutes. They hit $1 million by 30 minutes or something like that. They hit $2 million at the hour mark. They hit $2 million. It has been a little over a day now since it launched. It launched at 10 a.m. It is now 4 p.m. the next day. How much money do you think they've aggregated?
Oh, now?
Yes. How much money do you think after one full day?
I'm gonna say
$5 million.
No. They already passed $5 million when I talked to Matt yesterday. I'm gonna say $8 million. $8 million.
No, wait. 8.6 million.
Okay. They are at 9.4 million.
Ah,
That's pretty damn. Like, just all right.
God. Like, that just goes to show, okay, what if that doesn't get, theoretically, what if that never got made? What if the creators are like, Yeah, we're moving on to a different project.
That would be crazy.
$10 million.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
But like,
I think they're definitely gonna beat the most earning Kickstarter was 13 million. I think they're gonna do it. Like I'm pretty sure they're gonna beat that at this point.
I think they're doing it right now, dude.
Yeah, they're at 9.4 million, so pretty much they're close to 10 million, and that was all they got for their first project. They're probably gonna cross 13.
They got $9.4 fucking million with
In
30
a day.
days.
That's
30
crazy to me
days.
because I remember Pebble coming out and people kind of being like, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I remember being
The
people
thing
like
is,
that
though,
hot when it
in
finally
terms
came
of
out.
like smartwatches, like a lot of sites recommend the thing is it has the longest lasting battery life and it gives you notifications and it's cheaper than all the other smartwatches. So if you want like a cheap thing that does the thing, you probably just want to get a Pebble. It's sold the most. It has the longest, but the thing is like smartwatches right now I don't think are fully realized, and this is the one that's just like it's doing the same stuff the other ones is, and it's cheaper, and it lasts for a week.
I like the mock-up of the black one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the black one is the most attractive one I saw.
I did not.
I
I
just think
did not like
smartwatches
the
are
way.
kind of stupid.
I did not like the way the old one looked.
Yeah, the first one is pretty.
I knew it was. It looked very original. You know, like
Yeah,
like
the
first
iPhone.
generation. Oh man, that display looks really nice. I'm watching the video right now.
Oh, of like the animation. The animations are so cool. I was like,
Too bad
oh,
it probably won't work well with my iPhone.
It might. You don't know. They are compatible.
It won't because it's gonna. We're moving way off topic.
Yeah. Anyway, expectations. What you want out of products. This is somehow related. It's not related.
It's just kind of become a Kickstarter debate at this point.
Yeah, which is not really a debate. We're just talking about cool Kickstarter things.
Yeah, and I mean,
Nate can have a fun time photoshopping the thumbnail for this one.
Peter Molyneux question mark, and then it's like, but really, and then
like a Pebble watch and
yeah.
the Dark Souls 2 lighting somewhere.
Yeah. So are you guys cool with wrapping this up now, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have much to say, but I think one thing I wanted to say was if you're gonna hate anyone in the industry more than Peter Molyneux, just hate Phil Fish.
Really? You hate Phil Fish?
I don't like his personality.
Oh, that's fair. That's fine.
I don't think
that is fair, but
he's
Phil
too
Fish has
elitist
never.
about it.
I've never been mad at what Phil Fish has said.
Yeah, I've never been mad at what he said, but I
I've never
can
been mad at
understand
what, okay,
his...
well, let me correct myself. I've never been mad at what he said. I just can't stand him.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I know people who like.
I've never been like personally offended.
Phil Fish has said that. Oh my God, like he should die. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
I don't
All the internet are crazy.
He's a
I
dick
don't
about it.
hate him. I've got Fez right here. Like I love this game. It's fucking.
I got Fez on my Vita. Deal with
Yeah.
it.
Also, Fez is an amazing fucking game.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And I'm pissed that Phil Fish is like, I give up. You guys win, and then like sold the name for it, all that, you know.
Yeah.
Because I wanted another one, but
Yeah,
anyway.
I think a lot of people definitely did. So, sorry, something in my eye. Anyway, so thank you everyone for joining us this week on the Home Button. If you want to follow us on Twitch and Twitter, it's at HomeButtonCast. If you want to follow us on our Facebook or on YouTube, it's Home Button Official. And if you want to follow Emilio, he's going to be at Emilio Ferrantoro right there on your screen.
I'm going to be streaming probably again soon, too. So.
Oh, yeah, please follow us on Twitch. We're starting to do streams where we stream together over Skype, and it's much more fun, and when we get people involved in the chat, it's a good time. So definitely follow us up there. If you want to follow Jean-Luc, he's at Jean-Luc Psyche. I just literally, like, I took your name, and then I shoved it in the dirt. His name is... You can follow him at Jean-Luc Seipke.
Yes.
And you can follow me at Matt_Clink. I'm going to be going to... Jean-Luc and Emilio are going to be going to PAX this coming week.
So Gabe and Nate will also be there.
Yes.
So
you guys I'm sorry. I was just gonna say follow us. Definitely follow everyone on Twitter because they'll probably be tweeting about PAX. I am going to GDC, the Game Developers Conference, San Francisco, and I'm definitely going to be talking about that.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some PAX coverage.
Yeah.
Yes.
So no podcast with Matt next week then.
Yes. No podcast.
I thought we were maybe going to try, or we were just going to maybe not do a podcast at all next week. But
yeah,
we might not. I mean, I don't know if we have really anything to talk about.
And I'm going to be very busy. I think all of you guys are, too busy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wrap it up, dude. Thanks.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for watching. Follow us at those places that I mentioned, and we will see you not next week, but the week after with a bunch of talk about PAX and GDC. So stay tuned. And on behalf of Jean-Luc Seipke, Emilio Fornefort, and myself, goodbye.
I love you all.